plenty of his 80-plus novels and short story collections have been turned into classic movies and TV shows. Not every book from the Master of Horror has translated well into movie form, as was the case with the 1996 film adaptation of his body horror tale named Thinner. This novel about an overweight lawyer who gets a deadly weight loss curse put on him by a vengeful elderly man was one of the 7 books that King originally published under the pseudonym of Richard Bachman. And soon after Thinner was published under the Bachman name in 1984, King had his secret identity discovered and exposed by a bookstore clerk in Washington, D.C. and Bachman would officially be declared dead from cancer of the pseudonym. So it was King's actual name that was credited when the book was adapted for the big screen, with the screenplay originally being written by Beetlejuice co-writer Michael McDowell, until it was revised by the film's director, Tom Holland, who is best known for directing such 80s horror classics as the original Fright Night and Child's Play, and who had just come off of adapting Stephen King's novella The Langoliers into a not-so-good ABC miniseries. And boy, those CGI effects from the end of the Mangler are looking a little bit better in retrospect. So it shouldn't be a shock to hear that Tom Holland's second Stephen King adaptation went over just as well as his first one, with terrible critical reception and unimpressive box office. But since I've read the book and seen the movie back in my younger days, I shall find out if Thinner has ended up gaining any weight upon giving it another watch. I mean, sure, Tom Holland may be a great actor in the part of Spider-Man, but I seriously doubt he can carry any of those chops behind the camera as a film director. Hell, he was just a newborn in the year that they made this movie. Hey, wait a minute. There are 2 different Tom Hollands? Oh my god! But first, it's time to stop binge-watching Castle Rock and start binge-drinking some Rolling Rock in order to face off against the nightmares caused by the awfully good drinking game. Take a shot or drink every time you see the main character of our story weighing himself on a bathroom scale, as the story centers on an overweight lawyer by the name of Billy Halleck, and underneath that latex fat suit is none other than failed RoboCop replacement Robert John Burke, who has gone from looking like a RoboCop to an actual cop. Billy lives in an upper-class Connecticut suburb alongside his loving wife Heidi and their teenage daughter Linda, where the family discusses Billy's upcoming trial as the defense lawyer for notorious mob boss Richie the Hammer Ginelli, as played by an actor well familiar with playing mobsters, Joe Montana.
I said Joe Montana.
You sir, this is justice. This is not justice.
Try me, sweetheart.
Glad you 2 think this is so funny.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't have taken on Ginelli's case unless I was absolutely convinced of his innocence.
Oh, of course you would think that your husband's client is a murderous psychopath just because his nickname happens to be the Hammer. Hey look, maybe that nickname is just a reference to him getting hit on the head with a hammer in Baby's Day Out. Yes, he also played a mobster in that movie, but my point still stands. And after Billy hires a private detective to act as a witness for Ginelli and successfully acquits his client for murder, he returns to his law office to find out that a traveling carnival has set up shop in the middle of town, as run by a band of Romani immigrants, as referred to here by the more derogatory name of gypsies.
Honest to God, gypsies. Do you see that gypsy piece of ass down there?
Don't you see what's going on here? We've been invaded by a bunch of filthy, thieving gypsies.
I don't know, Judge. They kind of bring a little fun with them.
They bring disease, crime, and prostitution. What kind of fun is that?
Whoa there, Judge. I will have you know that prostitution is a great deal more fun than disease or crime. I can ignore your racism, but I will absolutely not stand for slut-shaming. Later that night, Billy and his wife are driving home from dinner as Heidi chastises her husband for his unhealthy eating habits.
I can't help it, Heidi. All I think about is food.
Oh, easy boy, down boy.
No way, my hero. We're out of here before you explode.
Better get a bucket or throw up.
While at a nearby pharmacy, the elderly patriarch of the Romani family and his slightly less elderly daughter come in to fill a prescription for the cancer growing on the old man's nose.
What do you look at?
Nothing.
And yes, that is none other than Stephen King himself making one of his numerous cameos in his cinematic book adaptations, playing the role of Dr. Bangor.
You saw the old woman leave the store, Mr. Bangor.
Haha, you get it? Because that's where he's from. But as his daughter goes back to the car to get her coat, Billy's wife decides to cure her husband's cravings by snacking on some drive-thru sausage. And the elderly woman tragically crosses paths with Billy Halleck's car in the middle of his automotive fellatio. Oh dear God, what have you done? You were supposed to have run over Stephen King with your car, not Tabitha King! Now how the hell is he supposed to get high on painkillers and end up writing Dreamcatcher? Billy stands before the court a few days later to answer for his accidental murder, only to end up getting off scot-free thanks to his friendship with the judge, as well as some perjurious testimony from the local police chief Hopley, played by Robert John Burke's RoboCop 3 co-star Daniel Von Bargen. But as Billy walks out of the court a free man, he finds himself ambushed by the dead woman's father and given the curse of the film's title. But not to worry, this old guy is played by the dad from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which means that this curse can easily be lifted by just spraying a little Windex on yourself. 1 week later, Billy and his wife are astonished to find that he's lost 14 pounds over the past 7 days.
Hey, you look like you've lost weight. Of course, I haven't seen you stop eating.
Somebody call Richard Simmons.
But then Billy finds out that the judge has started to develop a rash on his chest after the old gypsy touched him as well.
How the hell should I know?
And Billy now begins to suspect that the old man may have actually laid a legitimate curse upon him, which is causing him to rapidly lose weight until he reaches his death.
What's there to worry about? I finally found a diet that works. Eat all you want and still lose the weight.
With Billy consuming food on a nearly constant basis in order to beat back the curse.
I have to eat like this. It's a race, and I'm losing.
Well, you don't have to sound so mean, as if it's my fault.
I'm sorry. Was I giving myself a blowjob just then?
I don't remember you complaining about it at the time.
Well, to be fair, ma'am, your husband was a little busy with the elderly woman he had just accidentally hit with his car. He didn't have any time to properly assess the quality of your blowjob. And after Billy's physician tells him that the judge has left town to help out his sister after a car accident, that's when he decides to pay a visit to the judge's wife, Lita, so she can tell Billy the real story behind her husband's sudden departure.
He touched him, and then he whispered something in his ear.
What did he say?
One word.
Plastics.
Lizard. His skin is plating. His evolution in reverse.
Aha! My conspiracy theories have finally been confirmed. The one true theory of evolution came from the Super Mario Bros. Movie all along. Suck on that, Charles Darwin! Or should I say, Anthony Scapelli?
Monkey!
But now back to the scenery-chewing performance of the judge's drunken wife.
At the end, before he left, his hands were like claws. What did he say to you? What did the old duck say to you?
Nothing. There's no such thing as a gypsy curse.
You come back in another couple of weeks. You tell me what you believe then. You hear me? You tell me!
And since this story is in the Stephen King universe, I dearly hope that this woman's daughter turns out to be the crazy waitress from Maximum Overdrive.
We made you! You tell me!
So Billy next heads over to the home of Chief Hopley to find out if he too was also cursed by the elderly man, and finds out that the chief has been given a full body case of killer acne.
Yours is just a little slower. You'll get there eventually.
Oh please, you didn't get cursed all that bad. Just wait until you see what curse the old man gave to Dr. Bangor. No! And much like Jordy Verrill, Chief Hopley also ends up taking his life with a gun to his head. After which Billy Sandy starts taking the same downward spiral as his ever-decreasing waist size.
Please don't go through that curse thing again.
What the hell else can it be, honey, huh? It's not anorexia. I don't have a tapeworm. I'm being erased.
And worst of all, I'm starting to develop a Jack Torrance evil stare. Now Billy must use his personal connections with some local private detectives to find out that the old man's name is Tadsu Lemke, whose dark magic is assisted by his great-granddaughter Galena, played by former MTV cover girl Carrie. And Billy tracks down the two leaders of the Romani clan at a nearby carnival so that he can confront them over the evil curse.
I can tell you weight from right here. 159, right? Gonna be 143. And the week after that, we don't like to think about that, do we, mister?
Ah yes, because nothing strikes fear into someone's heart more than laughing like Mary Sanderson from Hocus Pocus.
We're young.
But things start getting a little weird when Billy ends up receiving a getaway ride from his half-lizard friend.
Get in, you idiot! Carrie.
Oh, come on, movie. You're telling me that this is supposed to be the judge's lizard form? I was expecting him to turn out looking like one of the Slee Stacks from Land of the Lost. And instead, he looks like he just walked off the set of The Frighteners. The next thing you know, you're gonna tell me that this entire scene will turn out to be a pointless dream sequence. Oh, god damn you! But even though the movie often goes into these moments of silliness, Robert John Burt gives a compelling performance throughout the entire film, even as his character grows more unlikable, with his great makeup work being performed by 4-time Academy Award-winning makeup artist Greg Canham. Because what better way to sell your horror movie than saying it's from the same makeup artist as Mrs. Doubtfire?
Hello!
Billy finally catches up to the old man's campground so that he can beg him for forgiveness and take the curse off him before it's too late.
Take it off before this goes any further.
Get out or I make it worse.
And when he instead ends up receiving a ball bearing through his hand from the great-granddaughter's slingshot, Billy reciprocates the old man's curse with a curse of his own.
I curse you! The curse of the white man from town!
The curse of the white man from town is on you, pal.
And instead of giving the Romanis the actual curse of the white man from town, which is, of course, to replace their campground with a Starbucks, he ends up calling his old client Richie Janelli to see if Richie can return the favor to Billy for his acquittal by aiding him in revenge against the old man, since Billy has grown too weak from his weight hitting the double digits.
You're not actually gonna hurt anybody, are you? If I'm gonna help you, you don't get to ask that question again.
And when Joe Mantegna returns to this movie for the last 30 minutes, he amps things up to a delightfully insane level, as the Hammer proceeds to kill off all the dogs at the gypsy camp by feeding them some poison-laced steaks, and hires himself this Brian Austin Green-looking motherfucker to act as Richie's lookout over at the gypsy camp. But then the gypsies reply back to Billy and Richie by dropping off this poor guy's mutilated corpse in front of their doorstep. Seriously guys, was the chicken head stuffed down his throat really necessary? And that's when Richie decides to clap back at the gypsies by attacking their camp with a goddamn AK-47.
They can't get away with that stuff they pulled on that kid. It was a mook, but it was my mook.
All of a sudden, we've gone from Joe Mantegna acting like a live-action version of Fat Tony, or minus the fat, to now pulling a Rambo-style massacre on a gypsy campground. I thought this was supposed to be Stephen King's Thinner, not Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time at Woodstock.
Anybody order fried sauerkraut?
Dirty fucking Indies.
And for his final act, Richie comes by the campground the next day posing as an FBI agent so he can proceed to torture Lemke's great-granddaughter with some acid to the face.
Acid, bitch. You just got a face full of soda pop and baking soda.
Hi there, I'm Joe Mantegna, and this has been a sneak peek of my upcoming prank show, Acid or Soda Pop, coming soon to my new streaming service, Mantegna Media. I guarantee you this show will crack you so consistently up.
Your friend is a pig! You dirty, filthy pig!
Sadly, this is where Richie leaves Billy behind so that he can help his crew fight off the Yakuza over possession of Marge Simpson's pretzel monies. And Lemke finally meets with Billy so that he can transfer the curse out of his body through his hand wound and pour his blood into a bubbling strawberry pie.
Somebody got to eat this pie. Everyone who eat pie die quick and bad.
And although Lemke advises Billy to eat the killer pie himself, he instead gives a piece of the pie to his unfaithful wife when he returns home that evening.
You're gonna like it. You bitch.
With the curse quickly consuming Heidi's body by the next morning.
Did you try it? Yep, you tried it.
Well, either she ate a piece of the killer pie, or she came down with a case of that Captain Tripp super flu that's been going around. Somebody should have told her to take some Flu Buddy.
Flu Buddy!
But even though Billy told his daughter to stay over at a friend's house that night, it turns out that it was not just his wife who cut herself a piece of the killer strawberry pie.
I came back after you went to sleep, and I just had a piece of your pie for breakfast.
Well, hey, look at it this way, Billy. If your daughter thinks it's okay to eat pie for breakfast, she was probably on her way to eating herself to death anyway. So this'll just get it done quicker. So, happy ending? The original book jacket for Thinner describes this story as a nightmarish allegory about what lies beyond the limits of prosperous American complacency. And you can definitely tell the movie has some of the book's biting undertones of social commentary towards the unfairness of the justice system, and the way immigrants have been mistreated and ignored in American society.
Your daughter ran out between two parked cars.
Why wasn't you watching? You never see us.
However, the movie's intermittently goofy tone and potboiler dialogue make it feel more like a feature-length episode of Tales from the Crypt, and how appropriate since Tom Holland and Michael McDowell previously collaborated on a Tales from the Crypt episode. And in that context, Thinner is a very entertaining watch that makes up for its lack of scares with how amusingly cheesy it is throughout. However, when it comes to movies from 1996 that involve magically induced weight loss, I prefer the remake of The Nutty Professor. Now, why the hell didn't this movie have a wacky montage of our lead character trying on spandex?
No! I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
And on the nudie watch, you do end up getting a little peek underneath Carrie Wurr's skirt. Quick, try saying Wurr skirt 5 times fast. But that is not nearly as sexy as getting to watch Robert John Burke showing off his fat latex ass. Look at him rubbing those rubber nipples of his. Even really big man would be envious of those rubber nipples! Hell, forget making RoboCop fly. RoboCop 3 should have had Murphy have his suit outfitted with some rubber nipples which shoot bullets out of them.
Don't.
You hear that, Neil Blomkamp? You should have taken my advice. On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, Stephen King's Thinner somehow manages to be a less scary adaptation of a Richard Bachman novel than The Running Man, but still manages to tip the scale to come out to a weight of 7 out of 10. And if they end up remaking this Stephen King movie, I've got 2 words for you, Hollywood. Christian Bale. I'm Jesse Shade for JoBlo.com, and since people are enormously excited for Warner Brothers' next Stephen King adaptation, we leave you now with an exclusive never-before-seen clip from the upcoming Shining sequel coming this November, Dr. Sleep.
Did you hear something?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Since it was published in 1986, Stephen King's It remains one of his most famous novels, thanks in part to the 1990 TV miniseries adaptation that helped Tim Curry's Pennywise haunt an entire generation of children. But this weekend, we'll now have Bill Skarsgård as the trans-dimensional evil clown haunting a gang of misfit kids in the cinematic re-adaptation of It. And yeah, maybe that Dark Tower movie didn't turn out so good. But there's plenty of people out there excited to see what they'll do with this Stephen King classic, since they no longer have to hold anything back from the novel for a TV audience. And since they're planning on doing this movie in 2 parts, that's had me thinking about the little love genre of Stephen King sequels, when movie producers decide to make sequels to Stephen King adaptations without any input from Stephen King himself. I mean shit, the Children of the Corn series has managed to drain 8 movies out of a 30-page short story, and here I thought The Hobbit was stretched out too far. But the one we're talking about today is the one you viewers voted for me to review. From 1999, it's The Rage, Carrie 2. Yes, it all began in 1976 with Carrie, the very first Stephen King movie adaptation based on Stephen King's very first novel. And this film not only cemented Brian De Palma's status as a modern-day Hitchcock, but got its 2 lead actresses nominated for Oscars. The flick proved so popular as to spawn a Broadway musical, which flopped, an NBC TV pilot, which never became a series, and a 2013 remake, which bombed at the box office. But in the middle of all those was an actual sequel to the original movie, which started out as an original story under the title The Curse, before the producers realized how close their story was to Carrie and decided to turn it into a sequel. Sadly, it ended up nowhere near as successful as its predecessor, with critics and audiences dumping a big bucket of pig's blood all over it. So now I shall give this sequel a watch myself to see if it deserved a fairer shake. But first, I really need to know, how the hell did Children of the Corn get 7 sequels? Seriously, that's only 1 more than the Police Academy series. You hear that, Michael Winslow? Your noise-making ass got beat by a bunch of kids! So since Carrie was about a telekinetic girl being raised by a religious psycho mother, we open on another telekinetic girl and her religious psycho mother, this time being Rachel and Barbara Lang, with Rachel watching her mother paint a red stripe around the walls of their house so as to shield her gifted daughter away from demons.
Hey, I got an idea.
And thus ends the first and last episode of Extreme Makeover, Manson Family Edition.
Music about referendum.
But the authorities come in to take Barbara away to a mental institution and put Rachel into a foster family, where she grows up into an 18-year-old girl played by Emily Burgle. You may remember her as Francie Jarvis on Gilmore Girls, but I've never watched that show myself because I'm too busy watching shit like The Rage, Carrie 2! On the bus to school, she meets up with her best friend Lisa, played by Mina Suvari, who brags to Rachel that she just lost her virginity to Brad, a jock on the football team, played by Home Improvement's Zachary Ty Bryan. But little does Lisa know she's being used up by Brad and his fellow teammates, who are orchestrating a game where they rack up points according to how far they go with each girl they bang in the high school.
Total coyote date. Oh man, what's a coyote date? That's when you wake up in the morning, you got some ugly chick sleeping on your own, and you'd rather gnaw it off and have to wake her up.
No, you fucking moron. That's actually called an 127 hours date. Also, are you seriously implying that Mina Suvari is supposed to be ugly?
What are you, stupid? What's the matter with you?
And after Mina Suvari realizes she's gonna be the only person from this movie to star in an Oscar winner for Best Picture afterwards, she commits suicide 13 minutes into the movie. And the saddest part of Lisa's death is that the car got a bigger page in the yearbook than she did. This is where we finally bring back the only person who survived the events of the first Carrie, Sue Snell, played by Amy Irving, who has overcome her traumatic experiences to become a guidance counselor at the high school, and finds out from Rachel that Lisa slept with Brad before she took her life. But when Brad is faced with charges of statutory rape, the judge and Brad's father are able to get him off.
Eric's a good kid. He may be guilty of some youthful transgressions.
Youthful transgressions? Girl killed herself, Lou.
Now looky here, folks. We can all see this boy here is a white athlete who comes from a wealthy family and has a penis. Thus, he meets all 4 requirements for a get-out-of-jail-free card. You're free to go, son. Now go out there and rape some girls. Play some football. And much like how Nancy Allen vowed to have revenge on Carrie, Brad and his fellow dude bros vow to get their revenge on Rachel. But things get complicated when Rachel develops a relationship with one of the football players, Jesse, played by Jason London. The one from Dazed and Confused, not the one from Mallrats. Meanwhile, Sue is slowly finding out that Rachel has the same condition that Carrie White had.
What are you saying I have?
I'm saying you're not crazy, and it's not the devil. It's a trait, Rachel, you've inherited. Telekinesis.
Telekinesis.
Man, can you believe this woman's luck having to deal with 2 telekinetic misfit girls in the same town over 23 years? How can the same shit happen to the same girl twice? So Sue decides to visit Rachel's mom in the hospital and makes the shocking discovery that Rachel is actually Carrie White's half-sister.
I never told her because people around here aren't so fond of Carrie White because of what she did. He was her daddy too. His name was Ralph. Ralph White.
Man, this Ralph White dude really had a thing for psychopathically religious women, didn't he? Who's he gonna bang next, Marcia Gay Harden from The Mist? But before I go knocking on this movie, I'll give credit where it's due, and say that Emily Burgle is pretty good in the lead role, even though she's not even close to being as weird and heartbreaking as Sissy Spacek was. Plus, the jocks in this movie are effectively villainous, namely because they were based off a real-life group of high school boys in 1993 called the Spur Posse, who also scored points off their sexual conquest with underage girls. But the movie doesn't want to put a fresh spin on the original Carrie. Instead, it just settles for being a cheap copy of it. You got a bully seeking revenge on a misfit girl. You got a sympathetic friend of that bully trying to help out the misfit girl. You got a sympathetic adult trying to find out what's wrong with this misfit girl. You know the fucking drill. And even though bringing back Sue Snell does provide an emotional link to the first Carrie, the way they kill off her character is so anticlimactic that it makes her return entirely pointless. I mean, shit, guys, that's like if Han Solo died in The Force Awakens by slipping on a banana peel. However, there is some fun to be had in how much of a time capsule of 1999 this movie is. Back when all teenage horror movies had to be all hip and snarky and have an alternative rock soundtrack, just like Scream.
Hello?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Who
is this?
Don't you recognize the voice?
I don't know, guys. This DuckTales reboot just isn't doing it for me. Then things really pick up when the movie finally gets to its take on the famous prom scene, when Rachel finds out she was being used by the jocks for their little game. The thorns on Rachel's heart tattoo spread over her skin, and she lets loose with the telekinetic mayhem.
Holy shit, dude, it's her! It's her doing it!
How did you guess?
And it's definitely enjoyable to see Rachel kill off these teasing teenagers using everything from CDs, to bad CGI fire pokers, to actual fire.
Somebody put me out!
And don't worry, Janice, I'll put you out. Oh, god damn it! Now I'm on fire too! You bitch! But unlike the first one, the build-up is not nearly as exciting as the big finale, and it all ends up being only slightly better than your average straight-to-video sequel, which is to say that it's not really worth your time. Well, at least Zachary Ty Bryan was in this movie, and that means I get to mark a very exciting occasion. 3 Home Improvement cast members down, 5 to go. Oh yes, Georgie, the beer floats. And down here, you'll float too! Once you've conquered the evil of the awfully good drinking game. Take a shot or drink every time the editing gets all artsy and the screen switches to black and white. Yeah, sure, that first Carrie was a classic movie and all, but it was missing one big thing. It wasn't shot and edited like natural-born killers. There's a flashback to footage from the first movie.
Are you sure that you're not still trying to save a girl that died 20 years ago?
And you know, by doing this, the producers can now technically say, yes, we did bring back Sissy Spacek for the sequel. Through archive footage from the last movie because she turned down our offer for a cameo. But yes, Sissy Spacek has returned for Carrie 2. You see Eddie K. Thomas, aka Finch from American Pie, reappear in the movie.
Yeah, we're missing one killer party.
Well, I guess that makes 2 future cast members of the American Pie movies to pop up in this movie. And speaking of unnecessary sequels, American Pie has 7 of them. Keep up, Police Academy, you're slacking! And take a double shot, not just when they make a reference to Stephen King himself.
Ha ha, very funny, motherfucker!
But also when they make a reference to the TV show Friends.
I saw her leave with Monica Jones. I guess they went to Mark Bing's party.
Rachel with Monica?
God damn you, movie. I ought to slap you for that lame-ass joke. How do you think Brian De Palma feels about you pissing on the legacy of his classic movie with all your sequels and remakes?
What's great about Carrie is they've made so many versions of it now, and they've made so many mistakes that it's wonderful to see what happens when somebody takes a piece of material and makes all the mistakes that you avoided.
Oh, well, never mind then. Apparently, he don't give a fuck. Good for him. And on the nudity watch, there's plenty of partial nudity from these dumb, horny teens, but no full frontal nudity to be had. And thank God there's nothing to arouse me too much, or else my dick would have ended up like Zachary Ty Bryan's does at the end of this movie. Oh, shot to the dick with a harpoon. Oh, that's no good. Well, now I know why his dad says he's now the last man standing.
Uh-oh. Oh, no!
On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, The Rage Carrie 2 is more like the annoyed indifference Carrie 2, and gets crowned at the prom with a 4 out of 10. Yes, they are all gonna laugh at you, Carrie 2, just not for the right reasons. I'm Jesse Shea for JoBlo.com, and speaking of Stephen King movies, I wanted to take some time out to pay tribute to the man who directed The Mangler, as well as Life Force, Tobe Hooper, who passed away last weekend. Though I may have mocked those 2 movies, he helped make them 2 of the most entertaining movies I've reviewed so far this year, and his classic films like Poltergeist and The Texas Chainsaw Massacre helped certify his status as a movie legend. So thank you, Mr. Hooper, you'll be sorely missed. We shall beat down our refrigerators in your honor.
Miserable piece of dark fuck!
Of the 50-plus novels written by horror master Stephen King, the ones that King's fans have been most eager to see hit the big screen are the 8 novels of his Dark Tower series. And this weekend, their wish finally comes true, as Idris Elba's gunslinger hunts down Matthew McConaughey's Man in Black in what is hopefully the first of many cinematic adaptations of the Dark Tower. And this film is truly the culmination of over 40 years of Stephen King's terrifying tales making an impact on the pop culture landscape, with a little help from legendary directors adapting them to the big screen, ranging from the recently departed George A. Romero, to Stanley Kubrick, to John Carpenter, to Tobe Hooper. And though Tobe Hooper found success adapting King's novel Salem's Lot into a TV miniseries in 1979, he only found failure with his 1995 adaptation of the Stephen King short story, The Mangler. I remember the trailer for this flick, which hyped it up as the legendary teaming of 3 horror movie icons. Tobe Hooper, the director who gave you the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Poltergeist. Well, sort of gave you Poltergeist. Robert Englund, the actor who played everyone's favorite wisecracking dream killer Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And Stephen King, who wrote the short story that this film was based on, about a monster far scarier than any killer clown or killer car, a killer laundry press machine. Yeah, no matter how many Masters of Horror you get to make a movie out of that story, it's not going to turn out well, with the film tanking at the box office and getting laughed away by critics. But as someone who's loved his fair share of Stephen King's stories over the years, I shall see if this movie lives up to the hype of that trailer, which I happened to watch as a kid quite a bit on the VHS tape of a Freddy Krueger movie, with the announcer's cool-ass movie trailer voice.
Coming soon to a motion picture theater near you.
Oh man, you know the announcer got all the ladies in bed with that voice of his.
And now, our feature presentation.
Oh, god damn it! Are you gonna come already or what?
Coming soon.
So we open up where most Stephen King stories open up, in a small town in Maine. And at the center of this town is the Blue Ribbon Laundry Service, as owned by the eccentric and leg-braced entrepreneur Bill Gartley, played by Robert Englund. As the female employees do their load of laundry for the day, one of them, who happens to be Gartley's teenage niece, Sherry, cuts her hand on a lever and bumps into a pair of moving men carrying out an icebox, which causes her to splatter blood into the wringer of the folding machine. Later that day, tragedy strikes when the elderly Mrs. Frawley spills her bottle of antacids near the machine's wringer. You know, you could just ask somebody to stop this machine so you could go ahead and get your antacids. Maybe even use a stick of some sort to get them out of there. Or just buy another bottle of antacids. They're not that expensive. Or just stick your hand in the wringer like a dumbass and get smushed to death. Yeah, you could just do that.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
So they call in Detective John Hunton to evaluate the carnage, and he's played by Ted Levine. You know, with that trench coat, you could say his name should be Colum Buffalo Bill. I'll just go sit over in that corner in shame. Ugh, poor guy. He shouldn't have had all those egg yolks for breakfast this morning. But after the safety inspectors proclaim there's nothing wrong with the machine, the suspicious detective chats with his brother-in-law Mark, played by the winner of the Edgar Wright lookalike contest. And since Mark happens to be an English professor who's well-read in the dark arts, he suspects that the laundry machine is possessed by a demon from hell, and that when Sherry splattered her blood into the wringer, the machine developed a taste for human blood, uncovering an evil plot that Bill Gartley has made with the town's officials to sacrifice virgins to this demonic laundry press, in exchange for unlimited power, as part of a pact signed with the devil.
That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Hey, don't fucking laugh at this movie, Lance Henriksen, because you're gonna end up starring in the sequel.
God damn you, God damn you!
Yes, it's a little hard to make a great movie monster out of something that depends on its victims being complete dumbasses. Just don't go anywhere near the wringer and you will not die in a gory fashion. It is not that hard. I mean, shit, what's next? We find out that the Mangler transferred its evil into that icebox and turned it into a killer fridge?
It's alright, baby. Come on.
Holy shit, I was just kidding! We're actually dealing with a killer refrigerator now? That's amazing!
Miserable piece of dog fuck!
That's right, Ted Levine. Beat down that refrigerator's ass before it goes on to terrorize Ellen Burstyn in Requiem for a Dream. You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you fuck a Maytag repairman in the ass? In fact, the guy who helps make this movie so hilariously awful is Ted Levine. His character is like watching the early days on the police force for Captain Stottlemyre from Monk, back when he was constantly drunk and pissed off all the time and didn't give a fuck about anything. And it's delightful to hear Ted Levine bark out his lines with that creepy deep voice of his.
Look, don't start with the sprout breath political mystical bullshit, Mark.
Are you threatening me? Is that a threat? Go on, threaten me. I'll shove them crutches up your moldy ass, you fucking clown.
I'm really sorry, officer. Get this goddamn thing off of me! Numbnuts!
Wait, what'd you just say? Numbnuts?
Numbnuts!
Numnoms?
Numbnuts!
Funyuns?
Numbnuts!
But I do not mean to shortchange the work of Robert Englund in this flick. The dude makes an effort. I just don't know what the fuck is going on with his performance, which can best be described as if George C. Scott played a hybrid of the Penguin and Dr. Strangelove. And he gets off some inappropriate wisecracks, which makes me think he thought he was still playing Freddy Krueger.
Life's a bitch. Then you die. Hell's bells, Adele! Do something! I'll do something. I'll dance, that's what I'll do. I'll do a little dance for you, Sherry.
Well, unless you learn how to dance from Forrest Gump, I don't think walking around in a circle counts as a dance.
You ain't nothing
I mean, there's just so many weird and laughable elements to this flick that I'd be here all day trying to list them off. The guy who plays the creepy mortician is also the same guy playing the elderly newspaper photographer that Ted Levine keeps running into, but wearing heavy old age makeup. Shit, this is Guy Pearce and Prometheus all over again. Why the hell can you just hire an elderly actor for that part? Then there's the foreman at the laundry factory who keeps changing the amount of gray hair dye he puts in his hair from scene to scene. But yet again, Michael McDonald is killing it in the acting department, yo. Spilling blood on the sheets. And at the end of the movie, the Mangler fails to be exorcised of its demons because there was a magic plant used as an ingredient in the antacids it ate earlier. Fuck it, it's stupid. And thus it becomes sentient and chases after our heroes, turning into the worst CGI effect this side of Mortal Kombat Annihilation and the Adventures of Pinocchio. I mean, what is it with New Line Cinema movies having such abysmal CGI effects? I mean, really? So no, this flick is not the amazing collaboration between three horror legends that it was hyped up to be. But much like he did with Life Force, Tobe Hooper does try to give the silly idea some dramatic weight and impressive production design. And there's a whole lot of fun to be had in watching the failure of his efforts. Between the excessive gore and the campy performances, it's enough to overcome its slow spots to end up being a good time. Now, if only this flick went down the same route as Maximum Overdrive and had an AC/DC soundtrack, then it would have been even better. I mean, come on, guys. It was right there.
Hell's bells, Adele!
Oh, no, god damn it, guys. That was your cue to play Hell's Bells by AC/DC, not an Adele song. You couldn't have guessed that from me mentioning AC/DC before it. Fuck it. Review's over.
Numbnuts!
Viewers beware. You're in for a scare once you sober up after another intoxicating round of the awfully good drinking game. Take a shot or drink every time the Mangler attacks or kills somebody. I'm pretty sure you could have just escaped by taking the jacket off. But yeah, shooting at it with your gun works too, I guess. Did you learn your gun etiquette from Chief Wiggum?
Whoa, that was close.
Ted Levine pops another antacid. You know what? I don't like how this movie makes light of the very serious subject of antacid addiction. I used to be addicted to those fuckers. Man, when you ground that shit up and snorted up your nose, you felt like you were kissing Jesus' ballsack. The newspaper photographer takes another picture. And the name of this character just happens to be, not even kidding,
JJJ Picture Me.
That sounds like a fake name a screenwriter would give a character until he goes back to replace it with an actual name. What, were these other characters once named TTT Policeman, RRR Evil Man, KKK Racist Man? Ted Levine mentions beer.
What I need is a beer.
Well, what the hell are you supposed to do about it, huh?
Have a beer, that's what I'll do.
That's something important I want to show you.
6-pack of beer?
You know what? This gives me a great idea for a crossover movie. Ted Levine is Hunted. Joe Don Baker is Mitchell. Together, they're two drunk cunts.
What's the ribs? Get this goddamn thing off of me!
And take a double shot for the 2 times you see someone's bloody remains come out the other end of the Mangler.
It's okay. Get away from me! Get away from me!
No need to cry. These women's remains are going to be sent off to a better place, where they'll be taken care of by top men.
Who? Top men.
Arby's, we have the meats.
And on the nudity watch, this flick ramps up far more on the gore than it does on the nudity, which is for the best, because when Robert Englund tries to make the moves on one of the girls at his factory, it's just downright creepy.
Why don't you go in there and freshen up for your Uncle Billy?
Okay, Robert, your luck with the ladies is bad enough since you're famous for playing a burnt-skinned child murderer over 8 movies, but having a loogie valve on your neck is sure as shit not gonna help. Hashtag loogie valve. On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Boulder Bruce, The Mangler is probably the closest thing we'll have to Stephen King literally writing a story about a killer lamp monster.
When can I have it?
And Mangle's down a rating of 7 out of 10. Man, if The Dark Tower ends up getting no sequels, when even The Mangler managed to get 2 sequels, now that is a scary thought. I'm Jesse Shea for JoBlo.com, and since I'm gonna have to do another Stephen King movie review to tie into the It remake coming out next month, I'm proud to announce Awfully Good Movies' first ever viewer poll! Here's how it'll work. I will give you viewers 3 choices for my next Stephen King review, and you can write which movie title you'd like to see reviewed in the YouTube comments or the strikeback section of JoBlo.com. So which Stephen King sequel do you want to see reviewed? Pet Sematary 2, Lawnmower Man 2, or The Rage Carrie 2. Write down which one you'd like to see, and I'll review the winner next month. And if you don't vote, I'm gonna send Ted Levine over to your house to beat your refrigerator's ass. See you then!
Numbnuts!
JoBlo, he sure likes to drink a lot. JoBlo watches movie like the hero man.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.